Hey there, and welcome to This Explainer. Look, if you're a focused learner gearing up for those big financial exams and you really want to lock down the mechanics of your investments, and I mean absolutely crush it, you are in the exact right place. Today, we're basically breaking down the entire investor's journey. We're going to look at the whole life cycle of an investment, starting from that initial moment you buy it and start collecting income, right through to the day you finally hit sell. But most importantly, we're going to learn how to mathematically evaluate your total success. We're taking these supposedly complex financial concepts, and we're going to make them incredibly friendly, super simple, and frankly, really easy to memorize. So let's get into it. Okay, let's dive right in. Here's our roadmap for today. First, introduction to yield. Second, gains and losses. Third, total return. And finally, a quick knowledge check. Section 1. Introduction to yield, the income stage. Think of this as the income stage of owning an investment. You know, when you own a stock or a bond, you aren't just sitting around waiting for the price to go up. A lot of times, you're actually getting paid just for holding on to it. Yield is essentially the specific measurement of that income. It's the amount of money you, the investor, are receiving, expressed as a percentage of the investment's cost. So let's look at our very first fundamental formula. Current yield equals the annual income, specifically in dollars, divided by the current market value. It's really just a straightforward division problem. Now, quick side note, if this income happens to be coming from a cash dividend paid by a common stock, you'll hear people call this the dividend yield all the time. Just know they mean the exact same thing in this context. But the absolutely vital thing to remember here is that denominator. We are dividing by the current market value, not what you originally paid for it, but what it's worth right now.
Okay, before we run through an example, I have got to warn you about a massive pitfall. Test writers absolutely love to set what I call the rule of 4 trapdoor on your exams. See, that formula we just looked at strictly asks for annual income, but out in the real world, and therefore in your exam questions, companies usually pay out their dividends quarterly, 4 times a year. So if a question hands you a quarterly dividend, you cannot, I repeat, you cannot just plug that number straight into the formula. You have to multiply it by 4 to get the annual figure first.
Let's actually walk through a classic example to see how this builds step by step. Let's say ABC Corporation pays a 25-cent quarterly dividend, and the stock is currently trading at $20 a share. Step 1, we dodge that trapdoor. We take that 25-cent quarterly dividend and multiply it by 4. That gives us our true annual dividend of $1. Step 2, we take that $1 of annual income and divide it by the current share price, which is $20. 1 divided by 20 gives us 0.05. And finally, step 3, we just convert that to a percentage, so we end up with a beautifully clear 5% current yield. Easy, right? Section 2, gains and losses, the selling stage. So that brings us to the next phase of our journey, the selling stage. This is when you decide it's time to close your position, meaning you finally sell the investment you've been holding. This is really the moment of truth, where you find out if you made a pure profit on the asset's price or if, well, you took a hit. The formula here is super straightforward. Capital gains or losses equals your sales proceeds minus your adjusted cost basis. If that resulting number is positive, boom, congratulations, you have a capital gain. If it comes out negative, you're looking at a capital loss. Now, sales proceeds is exactly what it sounds like. It's what you sold it for. But what about adjusted cost basis? That is essentially the amount you originally paid for the position, just modified by any adjustments over time, like, say, the effect of a stock dividend. Now, we need to make a really vital distinction here between realized and unrealized gains. Capital gains and losses only become taxable when a position is officially closed, meaning you actually pulled the trigger and sold the asset. We call those realized gains or losses. However, if you're still holding the stock and its value goes up, you have an unrealized gain. It's basically a paper profit. The math to calculate it is exactly the same, but instead of using sales proceeds, you just use the current market value. But here's the kicker. The tax man does not care about your unrealized gains. They literally have zero effect on your taxes until you actually close out the position. So this brilliantly illustrates how the math actually plays out. Let's say you bought 100 shares of ABC Corporation for $22 a share about 3 years ago, and last week you finally sold those 100 shares for $25 a share. Step 1, we calculate the total sales proceeds. 100 shares times $25 means you brought in $2,500. Step 2, we subtract your cost basis. Remember, you bought those 100 shares at $22, so your cost basis is $2,200. Step 3, $2,500 minus $2,200 leaves you with a positive $300,
So you are looking at a very nice $300 realized capital gain. Let's look at another exam-style scenario to really cement this. We'll call this one the Amazing Pizza Parlor stock. So John buys the stock for $45 a share. While he's holding it, he receives $2 in taxable dividends. Later on, he decides to sell the stock for $44 a share. And the exam question asks for his realized capital gain or loss. Okay, the absolutely crucial point here is that you must ignore the dividends. Remember, the formula for capital gains is purely sales proceeds minus cost basis. He sold at 44, he bought at 45. 44 minus 45 equals a -1. So John has a realized capital loss of exactly $1. Do not let those test writers trick you into sneaking that $2 dividend into a pure capital gains calculation. It's a completely separate bucket. Section 3, Total Return, the Big Picture.
All right, this is where it all comes together. We take the income we learned about back in Section 1 and the capital gains we just covered in Section 2, and we literally smash them together to get the absolute ultimate measure of an investment success over time. Here is your master formula. Total return equals the income you received plus your capital gains, or minus your capital losses if things went south, all divided by your cost basis. Notice a big difference here. Unlike the current yield formula, which divides by the current market value, total return calculates your overall percentage of success based on the original money you actually put in, your cost basis. This is what gives you the full, true picture of how well your original investment actually performed.
Let's methodically walk through this with a hypothetical investor named Mary Levine. Mary bought 100 shares of Highlands Real Estate for $20 a share. Over the course of a year, she collected a 25-cent quarterly dividend. At the very end of the year, she sold her shares for $21 a share. So let's figure out her total return. Step 1. We find her annual income. 4 quarters of 25 cents equals a clean $1 in income. Step 2. We find our capital gain. She sold at $21 and she bought at $20, so that's a $1 gain. Step 3. We combine them. The $1 of income plus the $1 gain equals $2 of total value generated. And finally, step 4, we take that $2 and divide it by her original $20 cost basis. 2 divided by 20 equals 0.10, which means Mary has a very solid 10% total return. You know, isolating Mary's variables side by side like this just makes it so much clearer, doesn't it? We can see exactly how all the individual pieces from our previous sections fit perfectly together into this one master equation. That $20 basis goes right on the bottom, the $1 income and the $1 gain go right on the top. It's elegant, it's simple, and honestly, when you break it down step by step just like this, calculating total return is an absolute breeze. Section 4, Knowledge Check. Put it to the test. Okay, we've covered the mechanics, we've learned the formulas, and we've spotted those sneaky trapdoors. Now I want to challenge you. Let's do a quick interactive pop quiz right now, just to ensure you have fully internalized these concepts for your exams. I'll read out the scenario, you pause for a second and do the math in your head, and then we'll reveal the answer together. Ready? Scenario 1. Seabird Airlines pays a 40-cent quarterly dividend. The shares are currently trading at $32 per share. The question asks, what is the current yield for Seabird? Take a second, think about the formula, think about what goes in the denominator, and most importantly, do not forget about that rule of 4 trapdoor we talked about earlier. And the answer is 5%. Did you get it? Here's exactly how we get there. Because that dividend was quarterly, we had to multiply $0.40 by 4 to get our true annual dividend, which is $1.60. Then we take that $1.60 and divide it by the current market price of $32. $1.60 divided by 32 gives us 0.05, giving us that 5% current yield. If you got that right, huge congrats, because you just successfully dodged the most common trick on the entire exam. Moving on to scenario 2. You purchased 100 shares of XYZ stock 3 months ago for $20 per share. You just sold those shares today for $22 per share. What is the customer's capital gain for these transactions? Remember, for this one, we are looking for a pure capital gain expressed as a simple dollar amount. The correct answer here is a $200 gain. We calculate the sales proceeds by multiplying your 100 shares by the $22 sale price, giving us $2,200 total. Then, we calculate the adjusted cost basis by multiplying those 100 shares by the $20 purchase price, giving us $2,000. So $2,200 in sales proceeds minus the $2,000 cost basis equals a positive $200. That is a clean, fully realized capital gain. All right, scenario 3. This is the final boss question. You purchased 100 shares of XYZ stock 1 year ago for $20 per share.
You just sold those shares for $21 per share. Over the course of the year, XYZ paid a $0.25 quarterly dividend. What is the total return? Take a deep breath and combine everything we've learned today. The ultimate answer is 10%. Let's validate that math. First, we grab the income. 4 quarterly dividends of 25 cents equals $1. Next up, the capital gain. A $21 sale price minus a $20 cost basis equals a $1 gain. Now we combine them. $1 in income plus $1 in capital gains equals $2. And finally, we divide that $2 by the original $20 cost basis. 2 divided by 20 equals exactly 10%. If you got that, you have officially mastered the master equation. Listen, by mastering these 3 formulas, current yield, capital gains, and total return, you aren't just blindly memorizing definitions to pass a test. You are actually equipping yourself with the essential everyday tools of professional financial advising. So are you ready to look at your own portfolio through the lens of true total return rather than just kind of guessing how you're doing? Keep practicing these steps, always watch out for those quarterly trapdoors, and you will be analyzing investment performance like an absolute pro. Thanks so much for learning with me today, and I'll catch you next time.